Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 9th, 2017 meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board. This evening we began our agenda meeting approximately 5:35 p.m. and we exited at approximately 6:43 p.m., all voting in favor to exit executive session. I know it can be bad, believe me, I've been in these meetings, but tonight's a good one. Tonight's a good one. I apologize, I said executive session tonight. I meant agenda session. I apologize for that. Excuse me. And just so you know, the person making the corrections here is John Tingley. He's an attorney that has been hired by the town. He has worked now for a couple months on our planning commission, and some of the work that his steering committee for the comprehensive plan steering committee has done is one of the resolutions that we have here this evening as well. So I'd like to just welcome John to our town meetings. And John, I hope your pen works. We're going to have to discuss. So, in all seriousness, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Present.
Mr. Lamore?
Present.
Mrs. Miller-Herrera?
Present.
Mr. Villano?
Present.
Mr. Tomazone?
Present.
5 present.
Okay, would you all please stand for the pledge? Chief, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So this evening, I have a couple of presentations to make, and I'll start first with Dan Cole and his family. Dan, if you would come up. Your family doesn't want to be next to you, is that? Let's all get up here. So you raised an excellent young man. I don't know what he does on his free time, but I can tell you he did some great work for us at the town.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate it very much. So I'd like to do is present this commendation to you, and Ms. Marco has something. You want me to give it to him too? All right.
You don't want to?
No, not at all. There you go. She put your looks like a great pose there. Your picture.
It's professionally done.
It's professionally done. This man has a great dry sense of humor. That's why we joke. And, I've enjoyed my conversations with him. He's quite the young man, and I want to tell you that obviously I know you're proud, but my engagement with him and the work that he's done here in the town has been great. Always professional, always kind, courteous, and he pays attention, which is phenomenal. So thank you very much for all your work. So let me read a commendation here so you can understand what it is that Dan did for us here in the town. Whereas Daniel Cole is a member of the prestigious International Organization of Boy Scouts and a member of the Boy Scouts of America, and whereas Daniel has progressed through all the ranks of scouting to Eagle Scout, having earned 30 merit badges, and whereas for his Eagle Scout project, Daniel and his fellow scouts made improvements to the Great Flats Nature Trail on West Campbell Road, Rotterdam, New York, including repairs to the bridge deck and railing repairs of all 5 bridges, installation of new trail markers, and installation of new numbered information posts that are key to a trail map using GPS, and revised the trail brochure to include this information. And whereas while a member of Troop 3023, Daniel served as a volunteer for Concern for the Hungry Food Drive, the Rotterdam Methodist Church Rummage Sale, as well as numerous other Troop 3023 community service events. And whereas Daniel has brought honor upon himself, the Boy Scout Troop number 3023 of Rotterdam, New York, the scouting leadership, the town of Rotterdam, and his family, evidencing the trust and highest traditions of scouting. Now therefore, I, Steve Tomazone, Supervisor of the Town of Rotterdam, on behalf of the Town Board, Town Administrations, and our town residents, do hereby extend our congratulations and commend Daniel Cole for his extraordinary achievement and the example he has become for others in scouting to follow. So Dan, this is a commendation for you, and Ms. Marco has presented you with a beautiful color picture of yourself, and that's nice too. Very well done. And so thank you very much. I want you to say a few words because I told you that was going to happen. I think your voice will boom enough. Go ahead.
Great. So I'd just like to spend this time and just to thank a couple of people. I'd like to thank the town for helping me with this project by donating material for the bridge repairs. My troop, obviously, for also helping me with this with the project. Well, I wish I had something written, because I'm obviously terrible at speaking on the fly.
Let me say this. I can say this though. Whatever profession it is that he seeks, he'll do a phenomenal job. I mean, he's very his attention to detail. The work that he did in the trail also is it had to, I don't want to say it had to be done first, but he did this work on his own, a lot of it on his own, but with others to help him. But we are also investing over $100,000 to redo the entrance to the Great Flats Nature Trail. So there's going to be new parking, flowers, signage. It's going to look beautiful. And that he did this work ahead of time with GPSing of where the trail markers are and so on is going to help us to make sure that it's a real visual experience for people when they go and use the trail. But more importantly, that long term, it's a showpiece for the town. That's what we're going to do. You'll see that happen before the end of this year. So thank you again.
Just like to say he's a great neighbor.
Oh, thanks, Jack. Thanks, Jack. Does he cut your grass, Jack? Does he ever cut your lawn? Does he cut your grass? All right, okay. I just want to make sure. Find someone like him, I'd try to get him to cut my lawn. And are the Valakovics here tonight? Would you come up? How are you? Hi. Thanks for coming this evening. Yeah, Richard. Appreciate it. Frank. Oh, Frank. Okay.
Steve.
All right, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. So this year, Carmen Body Works is celebrating their 70th anniversary. 70 years. 70 years in business. So let me read the proclamation for them. Whereas the town of Rotterdam and its residents desire to focus attention on noteworthy occasions and events within our town, and whereas Carmen Body Works, Inc. is known as the oldest continuously operating auto body shop in New York State, located at 1951 Hamburg Street in Rotterdam, New York. And whereas this year of 2017, the community has come together to celebrate the 70th anniversary of Carmen Body Works, Incorporated. And whereas Carmen Body Works, Incorporated uses the latest methods to paint, preparation, and matching DuPont paint systems and plastic welding to make your vehicle look like new again. And whereas a hallmark of a successful business is its ability to adapt and evolve to meet the needs of the community and businesses it serves. Now therefore, I, Steve Thomas Sohn, Supervisor of the Town of Rotterdam, do hereby acknowledge on behalf of the town administration and all of our town residents, congratulations to Carmen Body Works Incorporated as a token of our great esteem for your accomplishments, and wish you great success in all future endeavors. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll take what he said. I don't have anything written, but it's been a family-owned business since 1947. Dad passed away early in life after I graduated from Mohonasen. It was up to me to take it over, my brother Bob. It's just been a growing business since 1947. We've had our ups and downs. This year seems to be one of the best years we've had so far. So whatever we're doing it right, and we don't plan on stopping.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you all. So our first order of business this evening is for public hearings. Ms. Marco, would you read public hearing 1, please?
To amend Chapter 266, Section 46 of the Code of the Town of Rotterdam entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule 6, stop intersections as follows. Install a stop sign at the intersection of Santa Lane at Miles Standish Road. And nobody signed up for it.
No one signed up for that? Okay. Does anyone have any comment from the board? Okay. I'll declare public hearing 1 closed at this time. Okay, Ms. Marco, public hearing 2.
To allow for a change of zone request from Christo Real Estate Holdings LLC, contract ND, 351 Duanesburg Road, Schenectady, New York, 12306, for property located at 1006 Wallace Avenue, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, which is known as tax map numbers 48.14-13-6, 48.19-13-7.1, and 48.19-13-17. The applicant is requesting a change of zone on 0.65 acres of property from single-family residential R1 to general business B2 to enlarge the existing parking area for Tops All-American Grill located adjacent to property. And the first person is Richard Zaricki.
Zizicki.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Supervisor, I'm going to step down off the dais since it's a conflict of interest for me.
Sure, please do.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We've had some discussions with the residents on Wallace Avenue regarding the zoning request change. I did share with most of the neighbors the proposed diagram that the supervisor provided to us. Some of the neighbors were concerned about the increase in traffic and further encroachment into the residential area of the commercial, expanding commercial establishment. If you look at the diagram, it clearly shows that there are several, as was written in the resolution, there are several parcels within that location. Most of the residents are in favor of rezoning the rear parcel behind 1006 Wallace Avenue. But we are opposed to the zoning to commercial of the residence that's currently existing at the 1006 Wallace and the property next door to it. For several reasons, as I mentioned, besides the encroachment, one of the other issues that I've been working with the town police department on is the traffic issues that we've been having on Wallace Avenue. On June 21st, we had a commercial vehicle came down, pulled down a cable vision service line to my structure, my residence. On July 14th, another commercial vehicle came down the street and damaged the fence at 1044 Wallace Avenue. It was a little over $1,000 worth of damage. And then recently on July 20th, my personal vehicle was damaged, I believe intentionally, that was parked outside of my home, causing over $2,000 worth of damage. So we clearly have an issue with traffic, and that's our fear that the changing of the zoning to commercial to expand the parking lot. As I mentioned, we don't have any issue with the back parcel, the rear parcel, but we do with the parcels actually fronting on Wallace Avenue. The other issue is traffic. The agreement had been both with the renovations to Tops Grill and to McDonald's that the traffic exiting those parking lots would be directed towards the Five Corners intersection, that there would be signs saying to those people exiting the parking lots not to turn down Wallace Avenue, and that there would be arrows. And that issue is still in existence at Tops Diner. The sign has been defaced saying, yes, right turn, and then the arrow, instead of being painted to bear to the left towards the intersection, goes straight. Unless you have any questions, that's all I'd like to say.
We had a discussion, and
Yes.
I am moving ahead with our highway superintendent. I have not spoken yet, but with our site maintenance employees here in the town, we'll be working on some changes and some additional signage to that intersection and to the ingress and egress there along Wallace. So there'll be a little more to come, but I'll keep you apprised as we move ahead so that you know when we'll be there.
Okay, appreciate it.
Mr. Supervisor,
Sure.
may I address
You can, sure, if you want to, sure, because it's your... Good evening. Clearly, you all know my name is Evan Christou, managing sole member of Christou Real Estate Holdings LLC. And this is the diagram that Mr. Zizicki is referring to. First of all, thank you for your comments. I would like to think that I've always established that I've tried to be a good neighbor. And I want to address every single issue. As you can see, we are not compromising the integrity of Wallace Avenue at all, okay? And, you know, I would like the entire parcel clearly to be zoned commercial because that gives me some more opportunities for this building here. But again, as far as anything to do with the restaurant, if anything, that your traffic concern with the tractor trailers affects me just as much because their GPS sends them that way, or they try to cut from here on Route 7, and next thing you know,
they've clipped my vehicle in my lot, okay? And I've also been working with the police department, and because I've seen them, and my own children have almost been run over, and I'm hoping that by creating this additional parking here, okay, it will alleviate people having to park on the street on a busy day or encroaching Wallace Avenue and all. So I think at the end of the day, our goal is the same. As far as the right turn, as you know, we just sealed the driveway, and there are 2 or 3 mistakes that he made. He actually made the right turn only arrow on this exit instead of this one. The defacing of the property, the sign, I'm gonna be honest with you, was just an oversight. I will address that. Clearly, you can tell that it was defaced by someone by putting a yes sticker over the word no, but we will also address that. But the GPS issue, I wish there was a way we could fix the GPS issue, because I guess 50, 60 years ago, that might have been an entrance to the industrial park.
It was.
And what happens is that you get, I'm gonna say 4 or 5 times a month, you get a tractor trailer trying to go down Wallace Avenue. I don't really, you know, again, if anything, this might allow the tractor trailers to somehow turn around and not encroach your avenue at all. So I'm hoping we can address some of those issues together. But again, I am having the striper come back and correct that. There was, I believe there might have been another one-way sign here that also got defaced and broken. So I'm just waiting, again, to find the manpower. It's very hard to find people to do those small jobs sometimes, but believe me, again, you know, when we built this, I've also spoken to Mr. Van Dyke, who was on that road, and, you know, I want to always be sensitive to my neighbors and address everything that we can to, if anything, beautify the neighborhood, because the nicer everything looks, I think it enhances all of our properties. I'll stand here in case somebody else has any other questions.
Does anyone have a
Yeah.
question?
Mr., I think it's Jerry Pierce of Wallace Avenue? Sorry.
Gary Pierce, 1037 Wallace Avenue. I don't have any complaints, as along with Rich, on the portion, the 60.65 acre portion that wants to be rezoned at this point. But as I look at the map, it appears to me that the whole thing is rezoned, and in order to do anything else with the portion that's not being questioned for rezoning now, what does he have to do? I mean, if this goes through, that whole lot is B2, and then what action has to be? Another meeting to do any other action with that? Or could the house be taken down and then encroachment?
There's a number of different scenarios. I mean, if the applicant wanted to change their application, they have the ability to do that. As far as the other part of the property, to do something different with that front part on Wallace, once it's rezoned to B2, whatever allowable uses are in the B2 zone would then go before the Planning Commission for discussion, and that's it. So could something else be done there? The answer is yes.
Okay. And it probably isn't the right place to ask. What kind of buffers are in the Rotterdam Town Code as to adjoining property, residential property?
The buffering that would be there is 10 feet on all sides.
You notice between the red hash mark and the spaces, there is a buffer.
What I would tell you, Mr. Pierce, is that any buffering that would have to be done there would also be an issue that the Planning Commission and potentially the Zoning Board of Appeals would entertain if there were some variance that needed to be adopted there or voted upon there. But you know, one thing I will say, and it's not to I don't want to speak on Evan's behalf, but I do know my discussions with him that he's very concerned about making sure that he's a good neighbor in the neighborhood there. More importantly, anything that would happen with that front parcel is something that would have public hearings, other opportunities for the public to decide upon or help decide upon what would occur there. But yes, if that's the front part that faces Wallace is also rezoned to B2, again, any allowable uses in the B2 zone, or even potentially B1 and down, so residential use could still be maintained, and that's what I believe he intends to do at this point, is maintain it as a residential property.
Mr. Supervisor, just to,
Sure.
for Mr. Pierce, any other curb cut on that would have to come before some sort of a hearing as well, correct?
Everything, anything
So if
having
we were to
site
cut the
plan
curb
reviews.
there for something,
it
could you
would be-
say somebody wanted to build an office building there or something?
be
That
a
would
complete
still
site
have to
plan
come
review.
before appropriate boards. I can't just cut a curb, but there's already 2 curb cuts where the house driveway is and where the garage platform is. And again, my intention is, if anything, to improve some of it has fallen into disrepair, and I don't think that's good for anybody in the neighborhood. And I think if there's one thing you know about me, I'm not into disrepair, but I'm into making things look very nice. So, for me, it's an investment. My sister owns the building next to the restaurant. There is definitely a demand for additional parking, and you've seen the overflow on the parking. Hopefully, this will alleviate a lot of that. I did purposely have designed this entire thing. There is no tractor trailer parking in this property. Your concern is a real concern. If there was some way to get a hold of whoever creates GPS, because I think it's a GPS issue more than a Tops or a Wallace Avenue issue or a Rotterdam issue, to be honest with you. So, if you know a way that we can address that, I'm all for helping you address it, trust me.
Well, thank you. I want you to know I'm not against it. I've been through 3 iterations of your diner and still eat there.
You do.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mr. Pierce. Great, anyone else on the public hearing too? Okay. Is there, just by chance, is there anyone in the audience that wanted to be heard on public hearing 2 this evening? Yes, no. Okay, we'll declare public hearing 2 closed at this time. Public hearing 3, please.
Request by the SI Group Incorporated to discuss the allowance to build a wash building on approximately 900 square feet at their industrial facility located in the Aquifer Overlay Zone at 1000 Main Street in Rotterdam Junction, New York, 12150. And Louis Mio.
Come up, Liz, to the podium. Just state your name and your role for SI Group.
Hi, my name's Louis Mayo. I work for Industrial Process Design. We're the engineering firm who designed the wash building. Okay, SI Group.
Would you just give us a brief description of what it is you're doing there?
Sure. We designed a building for the SI Group. It's for the maintenance department cleaning. It's going to be used to clean pumps, pipes, conveying, other production-related equipment, so it can be serviced and rebuilt as it's a new condition. The liquids that they're going to use are mostly pressure washing and degreasers. Solvents used to clean on site are done in separate soap tanks. All the water is going to be recycled on site. Nothing's going to be disposed of into the sewers. There's going to be a drumming station, which will be treated on site and shipped off site for disposal at a licensed facility.
Any of the board members have any questions on the wash?
Yeah, now with this wash station that you're building, there's not going to be any French drains or anything mounted into the floor that would allow anything to go into the aquifer overlay, correct?
That's correct. There's going to be a sump system inside the building, a trench system that will deliver the water to the sump, and then the sump is going to pump into the barreling stations, or the drumming stations that they'll treat on site. So nothing, no French drains that can get in the aquifer.
Okay, and everything that ends up going into your wastewater treatment plant is restored at least to the quality of water that's in the Mohawk before it is in fact discharged back into the river, correct?
I believe so, yes.
You believe so?
I have.
He's an engineer that's been hired to work on their behalf.
I don't work for the plant, we're
separate plant.
But there was, if it helps, there was a short environmental assessment form filled out by the plant. I think it was submitted to the town.
It was.
Okay, because obviously my concern is, I don't want anything to go into the aquifer because it affects the drinking water for District 3, which is Rotterdam Junction. I don't want anything going to the river because it affects the drinking water of the town of Niskayuna and Colony. Obviously you do have to have a place to wash your equipment there.
Understood. Like I said, I wasn't involved in that part of the design. We designed the building. And I know this, I don't know if it helps or not, the short environmental assessment form was filled out by the SI.
It does. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it does. And you've already given the description really what's going to happen there. It's a closed system. Whatever effluent discharge there is not discharging anywhere but into a holding tank and then being trucked off-site for treatment. So there's nothing there that we really need to be concerned with from that perspective for this particular part of the operation of the SI group. And everything that, so those of you that are involved in anything having to do with the DEC know that everything that they do has a form, and everything is documented. So all of the activities that happen in this building are documented and provided to the DEC and potentially the EPA. I don't know, but I know for a fact the DEC. So I'm very comfortable with this for the SI group, and I welcome this change for their operations. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else have any questions before we? Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else have anyone else on number 3? No, not on public hearing 3. Okay, so anyone else on public hearing 3 in case you came late? Didn't sign in? No. Okay, we'll declare public hearing 3 closed as well. And at this point, we'll move into public comment privilege of the floor for any members of the public who want to speak on resolutions or other business.
Chief Hamilton?
Thank you. First of all, let me thank members of the board for your support over the years. You've been very responsive to our requests, whether they be for personnel or equipment, so that we can continue to provide our residents with the level of service that they deserve. As you know, I'll be retiring on Monday. It's been my honor and privilege to serve the community for 28 years now. I've worked alongside so many quality officers, support staff, and EMS providers. And it's going to be my honor tonight to recommend that Bill Manikis be promoted to chief effective August 15th. Bill has been an integral part of the police department administration for more than a decade. He was one of the officers that I looked to when I was a young officer if I ever had any questions. He was one of my first sergeants. When I became chief in 2001, he was the first or one of the first individuals that I sought to promote, and we've worked closely for many years now on every budget since 2006 and every initiative that we've had at the police department. I've been very fortunate over the years to work alongside many talented individuals, and it's my privilege tonight to recommend that 4 of those such individuals be promoted. I'll just speak briefly about each one of them. Bill Manikis graduated from Buffalo State with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He rose through the ranks over the past 32 years, working as a patrolman, a patrol sergeant, an administrative sergeant, a patrol lieutenant for the past 11 years as deputy chief. I've worked closely with Bill my whole career, and I look forward with great confidence in the department's future success under his leadership. Mike Brown's a veteran of the police department for more than 20 years. He holds a bachelor's degree from SUNY Albany. He's a graduate of the Zone 5 Law Enforcement Academy, and he's served in virtually every capacity in the department as a patrolman, an investigator, a sergeant, a lieutenant, and commander of the detective division for the past 11 years, overseeing every major crime investigation that we've had. He's also a graduate of the FBI National Academy, and Bill Manikis couldn't ask for a better deputy chief than Mike Brown. William Mail has been a Rotterdam police officer since 2006, has held the positions of patrolman, investigator, sergeant. He holds a bachelor's of science degree from St. Rose and is also a graduate of the Zone 5 Law Enforcement Academy. Derek Riley is a college graduate, has been a police officer since 2008 and an investigator since 2016. He's also a graduate of the Zone 5 Academy. And it will be my privilege tonight to recommend that those officers be promoted. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else in the public comment? That's it. Okay, before we go into the resolutions, I'd be remiss if I didn't say a few words myself, and we'll go into the resolutions in a moment. But for anyone in the law enforcement community here in Schenectady County and beyond that has had the privilege of having Jim Hamilton work alongside them in any capacity knows the quality individual that he is. You know, he says he stands here and he says very humbling things about the people. I should say humbling things, honorable things about the people that are employed by him. It shows how humble he is. He helped create the administration that we have over the years. He has been the one who, in my view, I look to when I served on the town board and as supervisor for guidance, and he has never once been afraid, and when I say afraid, he has been unabashed in his approach to myself and other town board members to let us know what it is that he needed and what it was that was required for his officers, his sworn officers, to do what they have to do to protect our community, and more importantly, provide an exceptional level of service to the people of our great town of Rotterdam. So Jim, I know I'm going to see you in the near future here, and I just want to stand up and applaud you for all of your years of service, and I want to thank you for your friendship, and not just as town supervisor, but again, as a parent and a resident taxpayer in the town. I want to thank you and your staff and the sworn officers for all that you've done to help us and protect us in Rotterdam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say a few words as the town clerk of Rotterdam. Jimmy is very special, and I know he doesn't like to make a big deal of things, but I did a little bit of research, and I know he's been through 6 different town supervisors, he's been through 2 police chiefs, 2 town clerks, 2 receiver of taxes, 5 highway superintendents, and several town boards. So I just wanted to give you this little.
So who has the same power? And thank you, I know that Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton are here in the audience this evening. Thank you for Jim, and thank you for your guidance for him, because the reason that he is who he is because of you. Thank you very much. So let's move into the resolutions. We have no other? Okay, let's move into the resolutions. 221-17, please.
Upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, appoint and promote Deputy Chief G. William Manicus to the position of Chief of Police at the Town of Rotterdam Police Department, full-time probationary with full employee benefits at an annual salary of $139,036.14, effective August 15th, 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, a motion by Member Christou, a second, please.
I'll second.
Second by Member Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. I've had an experience to work with many of the department heads in this town. The one department head that I've always been able, well, there's 2, but one of the 2 department heads that I've always been able to count on has been Deputy Chief Manicus. Anytime I've ever made a call on a police matter or on a routine town issue, he has always taken my call, he has always treated me with respect, and he has always done the best for the people of the town of Rotterdam. I could not be prouder to have him as chief. He is an ideal candidate. However, I regret that I cannot vote in the affirmative for any of the 4 police officers that are going to be on tonight. I also want you to know that I'm not going to be voting no, but I do feel like my vote needs to be explained. I am going to be abstaining on all 4 police promotions tonight, but there's a reason why. I've been on this board for approximately 4 years now. I have asked on many occasions to be provided copies of resumes, applications, information regarding the candidates that are in fact selected, and those that are passed over. The Chief of Police, despite his knowledge of his profession, is not the appointing officer in the town. There is no single appointing officer in the town for any of the police. There are 5. Each of us that are sitting before you is 1/5 of the town government. However, 3/5 of the town government is not invited to attend interviews, provided resumes, often applications, or any information regarding the people that are being selected to either be hired or to be promoted. There are individuals that applied for the jobs tonight, and I have no idea in my heart of hearts whether any of the people, other than I can say with all assurance Deputy Chief Manicus, are the correct selection. They very well could be. They very well may not be. I simply have no idea. Neither does Councilman Lamore, because he hasn't been provided any of that information. Neither does the Councilman Miller Herrera, who sits to my left. Until 2 minutes before the meeting, she was not provided any resumes for any of the individuals as acknowledged in the agenda session. However, I do in fact know that under her binder right now are those resumes that have not been provided to Councilman Lamore.
Yes.
We got him, John.
Yes, they have. They were trying to
Rick forgot to get it?
Rick forgot to give it to you.
Oh,
Okay, so when were they provided to the Republican members?
he tried to give it to you.
Probably
Same time that council.
Before I came back in there.
before, after it was too late for us to really read them.
10
Okay,
seconds.
which is common in the town government. I'm expected to vote with absolutely no information whatsoever. And when I vote no, or when I abstain, it's because I'm an obstructionist. I was elected by 30,000 people that are not sitting here in this room. Those people have a right to be heard, and they have a right to have a majority of the town board to be involved in the decisions that affect us as town residents. That does not happen. I'm happy that all of you came tonight, and hopefully all of you leave with a message. Hopefully you will share it as I am telling it to you. It is not that I'm against public safety. I am not against any of these promotions tonight. I simply have no idea what the qualifications of the other individuals that applied. And those individuals, likewise, should be considered for their promotions. If anybody wishes to speak to me at the end of the meeting regarding the reason for my vote, by all means, please do so. I'll be more than happy to discuss it with you.
Mr. Supervisor, I also would like to say something too. Like Joe said, we've been working pretty closely with Deputy Chief Manikis, and I know he would do a great job. And like he said, we don't have the information to know how the other officer will go. We have to go by just the word of Chief Hamilton, which that's fine, but at the same time, we have to make a voting decision that will last our lifetimes and everybody else's lifetimes with that decision. And first of all, I have no problem with any of the people that are picked for these promotions, but I do have a major problem with the price tag for each salary for each of the positions. That I have a problem with. So as not to vote no, I'm going to abstain too.
Anyone else? All right, thank you both for your comments. We have a motion by Member Christou and a second by Member Miller Herrera. Anyone else in the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Abstain.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
It's actually with a heavy heart. I really wish I could vote yes, particularly for this one particular candidate. I have to abstain.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
2 abstain, 3 yes.
Okay, so 221-17 passes. Resolution 222-17.
Upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, appoint and promote Lieutenant Michael S. Brown to the position of Deputy Chief of Police at the Town of Rotterdam Police Department, full-time probationary with full employee benefits at an annual salary of $122,837.64, effective August 15, 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Member Miller Herrera. Anyone with a question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Abstain.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
For the same reasons, abstain.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
3 yes, 2 abstain.
Resolution 222-17 passes. Resolution 223-17.
Upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, appoint and promote William Mayle to the position of Lieutenant Second at the Town of Rotterdam Police Department, full-time probationary, with full employee benefits and an annual salary of $101,727.42, effective August 15, 2017.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christou, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by member Bella Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Abstain.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Abstain.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
2 abstain, 3 yes.
The resolution 223-17 passes. Resolution 224-17.
Upon the recommendation of Chief of Police, appoint and promote Investigator Derek Riley to the position of Sergeant Second at the Town of Rotterdam Police Department, full-time probationary, with full employee benefits and an annual salary of $88,006.04, effective August 15, 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Supervisor.
All right, motion by member Christou, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by member Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question?
I want to take this opportunity, only because it's the last, not because of the individual being selected, that town law requires 3 affirmative votes from board members to make its decisions. And the people of the town of Rotterdam should insist that at least 3 out of the 5 board members know what they're voting on in advance of 2 minutes before the meeting started. It's ridiculous that we're doing this, and therefore I'll be abstaining.
Supervisor, if I may. One of the things that I have done in my experience here over the last year and a half in the town of Rotterdam is acknowledge the fact that we have many qualified people running the departments. As far as I'm concerned, I've never graduated from the police academy. I don't know what it's like to patrol the streets. I don't know what the qualifications would be to define myself or as someone as a good officer or a bad officer or a good administrative person in a police department or not so good a one. So when I look at these resolutions, I see the first 6 words or 7 words, upon the recommendation of the chief of police. That's what you do. You empower department heads, you empower the people that are in charge, and you put your faith and confidence in the fact that those people that work every single day in and day out, scheduling these people, mentoring these people, working with these people, knowing how these people are affected and the morale that they will create with these new positions. That for me says a lot. And that for me is a reason above and beyond anything else. Nobody's making any backdoor deals. There are no favors being done. All of this is done with the understanding that the people that interviewed these candidates, the people that went through these resumes, and the people that know how these people work on a day-to-day basis, understand what the job takes. And these comments that I have heard from day one that I've been up here, that in my opinion have no value when you try to create an adversarial relationship between law enforcement and community, I think is a detriment, and I think it's a shame. And for the record, since we want to make sure that they leave with the whole story, okay? At the end of an April meeting here, my fellow council member, Mr. Valano, made it very clear to me in a statement, which was heard by more than one person, that said, I am not interested in helping this administration. And I said, Joe, can I quote you on that? And he says, yes, and don't ever ask me again. So which is it? Do you want to be asked or do you not want to be asked?
Now, the thing is, in full disclosure, this is coming from the same deputy supervisor that at the last meeting acknowledged that he sits in on interviews without reading their applications and the resumes. There was a stark difference on our last meeting between the application and the resume. And when in fact asked about it, I do have the audio. I can
You can have the audio, and people can go back and look at the town board meeting where I very clearly clarified. I did look at the resume. I did look at the application. I did not line them up side by side. And I also sat in on the interview, and I let the person in charge of that department, which is consistent with my previous statement, and I let them ask the hard questions. And when I saw the candidate answer the hard questions and answer them effectively, that to me has a lot more value than what's on a piece of paper. End of story.
When you do not compare somebody's application and their resume and allow other people to make the decisions that we're voting on.
Yes, people that are running that department. People that are running that department and training the
Supervisor, I
candidate.
believe I have the floor. If you could please rein in the deputy
Well,
supervisor.
I had the floor.
I think part of,
Okay.
I think part of what goes on here sometimes is I'm not sure who's finished.
Okay.
Because you hesitate with one another. I do the same thing. I think that's just I think that's a form of some kind of respect to do that, so the next person can speak. But at the same time, I think that the political conversation, unfortunately, is overriding really what is important here, and that is that our chief of police has given us recommendations to promote people within his department. We are very, very fortunate that we have people within our police department and other departments of our town that we can promote because they have the skill set and the temperament to do the work that's required of the town, and more importantly of the people who do pay the taxes. And if you had 30,000 votes, Joe, in the last election, I think you should check your numbers. I don't think it was that high. But there's
I was speaking to the residents of the
I know.
I was the top vote getter, however.
Joe, a little bit once in a while. So there are about 29,000 residents in the town, approximately 20,000 are voting age. And as you watch what goes on at the board, on the board level, if you will, and I think that that's only, how should I say this, a snapshot of what really is happening in Rotterdam. In other words, really the truth is in the resolutions themselves. As far as the people that we promote, the people that we hire, what it is that we're doing in the town, that's what's important. Frankly, my opinion, there's many times my mother doesn't really care what my opinion is, and I love my mother dearly, and I care what her opinion is all the time. So what I'm getting at with that is that what matters is what we do. What matters is how we perform in our jobs. And again, we may have a difference of opinion, we may have a difference of opinion of process and procedure, and that's all a great conversation that we can have during the agenda meeting. And frankly, I think after that, we should get on with the business of the town and vote on resolutions and speak meaningfully about what it is that we have before us so that we can present a board that is unified in what needs to happen. It's in the best interest of all of us in the town of Rotterdam. So with that, we have...
Mr. Supervisor, I would like to say one more thing.
Go ahead, sure.
The thing is, the police department does a great job of protecting the community. But as the board, one of our main job is to protect the taxpayers. And because of the fact that the salary rates and raises and everything are so high compared to areas around us, it's just out of control. And what we have to do is the police department gets a majority of it. They do a great job. But all the other departments starve to get money. We had to bond to give a couple other departments that needed a lot of stuff that haven't gotten anything for years and years. We had a bond to get that. Well, we're not going to be able to do that all the time, bond for departments so they can get something. So we need to somehow cut down the police budget. And that's the biggest problem with trying to dish the money out everywhere, is it never gets cut. It keeps growing and growing. Well, it can't happen if you want this town to be able to survive for all the departments.
I'll speak to that at the end. Just going to make myself a note here.
There is an acknowledgement that we spend more than 100% of than our January tax
Numbers
collection.
change all the time, Joe. I'm interrupting you now because frankly, the dialogue that we've had about what really goes into what part of the budget, whether it's sales tax revenues from property taxes,
Yep.
fees and other revenues that the town receives, cut it however you want. You can make inferences all different ways, but the bottom line is that it's a total operation of the town that's before us. It's not one piece of the puzzle. And I'll talk later under committee reports. So we've voted in the affirmative on resolutions 221 through 224. I would like to...
224 hasn't been voted on.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have not voted on that yet. Move for the question. I was really hoping we did. Okay, could we move on to 2417, please?
Absolutely. Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Abstain.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Valano?
Abstain.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
3 yes, 2
My
abstain.
sincere apologies, everyone.
No big deal.
So we have, again, I'll reiterate, we voted in the affirmative on 221 through 224. I would like to invite the chief up to bring his officers up.
I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of police chief
the duties of the office of police chief
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. I'd like to take just a minute to thank the board for the confidence they're showing in me. I'd also like to assure the board and the public that I will work diligently to maintain the level of service and professionalism that was created by Chief Hamilton and others. I'd like to also thank my predecessors as chiefs and the men and women of the department past, present and future, who have built the strong foundation that I currently stand upon. But most important to me, I'd like to thank my family, my father and mother, without which I would have nothing. Any redeeming quality I possess, I owe to them. I'd like to thank my son Brian, my son Billy and Julie, who bring me joy and pride every day. But most of all, I'd like to thank my wife Lisa, who's probably as qualified as anybody in this room to be chief of police. 32 years of listening to me debate, contemplate, argue, complain about one police matter or another. She is without question the brains of the organization, the Manicus household. I'll never be able to express to her how important she is to me. Thank you very much. I state your name.
I, William Mayo,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of lieutenant
of the office of lieutenant
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Derek Riley. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New York, of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of sergeant
the duties of the office of sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So just as a point of clarification,
Before you guys leave the room, I just wanted to share one thing with the people that were all promoted today. It's a quote that's on my door in the deputy supervisor's office, and I think it's something that you should all take with you when you leave here. It's a quote by Simon Sinek, which says, "Leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge." And congratulations again.
Yeah, Mike Brown is not in the country, but at a future date, we'll have a swearing-in ceremony for Mike Brown.
thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board of the Town of Rotterdam acknowledges the appointment and promotion of Ricky Gittarelli to the position of senior laborer by the Highway Superintendent at the Town of Rotterdam Highway Department.
I don't need that.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Valano, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Christou. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera? Yes. Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Tomaso?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 225-17 passes. Resolution 226-17.
Authorize the town board of the town of Rotterdam to exercise their powers under Town Code 154-5 to designate the building safety inspector as an acting officer to enforce the uniform code and to exercise all the powers conferred upon them by Chapter 154-5 of the Town Code of the town of Rotterdam.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christou. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Valano. Anyone on the question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. I noticed in there that there's a line where it says that they need to get all their schooling and testing, all that done within the first year, and I just want to make sure that that gets enforced. If we're going to have somebody in charge of decision-making on somebody's life as far as if they're doing something right or wrong with their home, then we need to have people that are highly qualified and that are state certified. So, I mean, on the resume of the person that just was put in there now, it looks great, but I do think that we need to make sure that all these things are in place because they can influence someone's life with their home.
Thank you. I just as a comment, this is in order for the town to ensure that code enforcement matters and other matters that come before, to our attention around the town, that we have individuals, to Member Larmore's point, that are properly certified, educated, etc. That is not the issue here. The issue is that in the code it's silent to the building safety inspector authorizing or having the authorization to go out and write a violation notice, to go out and actually be there. So all that person can really do is go to according to their job description right now is they can go and say, there's a violation here. And then they have to come back here and get the code enforcement officer, building inspector to go back out and say, can you write that up for me? So this would empower the building safety inspector to be able to do his job more effectively. And that's really what we're doing here. But know that when it comes to the qualifications, to the testing that's needed, those matters are taken care of through our Department of Public Works, and they're on top of that. I know that the particular person he happens to be here this evening, Tom, that he is involved in all of that, and he's doing a great job there. So it's really this is not about the person in the job, this is actually about the job title having the power to do what we need to do under our town code. So we have a motion by member Christou, a second by member Valano. Anyone else on the question? Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Tomaso?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 226-17 passes. Resolution 227-17.
Amend resolution number 2.17 to maintain the position of MEO Heavy DPW, and said title shall remain in CSEA schedule effective January 1st, 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by member Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? So,
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. I had mentioned in the previous meeting that if we're going to put this position back in place because someone decided that they weren't going to retire when we thought they were, then we should also put back in place that when this person retires, that position goes away again. Because the only reason we're putting you back into that position back into play, because you can't have somebody work in that position and not be able to have a position for him and not pay him for that work. And so I think we need to have both parts of it in.
Are you
So-
to amend?
No. you can't, civil service law will allow you to do that. This is a situation where, without going into the personnel-related matters that have to do with personnel, and personal matters that have to do with different individuals in the town government, is that when we were negotiating the contract, that position was taken out as a title and as a salary schedule, because that was anticipated that the individual that holds that title was retiring. They are not. At this point, we have to add it back in. It's just easier to do that. More importantly, as we proceed into the future and some departments and some positions change, and perhaps with Larry's guidance, we'll be able to do some other changes and support. We'll be able to do that in the future, but we really can't do that here. That's not going to work with this MOU, and more importantly, it's not something that I would support, because we don't know when that person will retire. But know that in the future, the recommendation, I can be assured, won't come from anyone in the Department of Public Works, or in particular from the Highway Department, to use that elevated salary schedule. That's all I'm going to say to that. That won't happen. So we have to make an amendment.
Yeah, if we have to enter into a new memorandum of understanding or a memorandum of agreement with the CSEA anyways.
No, we don't.
That's what the backup says. Prepared by the town attorney.
Hang on. For this, yes. What I'm getting at, though, is that to do this, we do. But at the same time, when you go out to renegotiate the next contract, which is going to be probably beyond our potentially our management here of the town, the members of the town board will change, maybe once or twice here before that happens. That at that time they can look at that, and potentially that person may be retired. I don't know. None of us can really see the future. It would be great to be able to do that, but their decision changed, and so we need to acknowledge that. And this is the easiest and the most productive and the least costly, most efficient manner to do so. So I ask the board to please vote in favor of 227. Move for the question. Anyone else? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Reluctantly, yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
I believe there's a better way to do this too, but yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, thank you. Resolution 227-17 passes. Resolution 228-17.
Authorize the supervisor to negotiate and enter into a memorandum of agreement with Civil Service Employees Association, CSEA, Local 1000, Town of Rotterdam Unit, Schenectady County Local 886, to add the position referenced in Resolution 227.17 and compensation for position to Schedule B of the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou. May I have a second, please? Okay, second by Member Miller Herrera. Anyone in the question?
You know, reluctantly, I'm going to vote yes on this one as well, but I do believe that there's a better way to do this. If we have to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the CSEA anyways, there's no reason why we can't add language that also says, upon the vacancy of the position, it will no longer be part of the bargaining agreement. I do in fact believe that that could happen, but, you know, it's not a big enough issue for me to necessarily fight.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Reluctantly, yes again.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 228-17 passes. Resolution 229-17.
Refer to Planning Commission for report and recommendation thereon a proposed local law of the year 2017 for the following purpose: to amend Chapter 270 zoning to add the definition of yard debris and allow for the storage/transfer of yard debris by special use permit in the light industrial I-1 zoning district.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Member Larmore. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Member Valano. Anyone in the question? Okay, in the question, I would just like to say that the town is pursuing the relocation of the yard and brush facility that's located off of Princetown Road. If you have had the need to visit that particular location, getting in and out of there is not necessarily an act of God, but you've got to have good driving skills. And I don't mean that I'm not joking. I've been down there with a couple of different vehicles. And it's hard to get out of there with an SUV. So we need to look at relocating this. The highway superintendent and I and others have had some discussions. Others, when I say others, the members of the Public Works, et cetera. So we're looking at different areas, but obviously we want to be in an area that is already industrial. We do not want to continue what has happened now for years, which is the continual, I guess I want to say, detriment to the residents that happen to live, particularly along that stretch of Burdick Street. More importantly, depending on what we do, and I won't go into a lot of detail here outside of this, is that whatever agreement we have, the material that goes in is going to be dropped very quickly. There will not be days or weeks of stockpiling. We ran into a situation earlier this year where we were not made aware, I think, until a month after the fact, almost. At least I wasn't. That the company that was taking our debris, coming in to truck it out, was in trouble. When I say trouble, it's documented, it's in the newspaper, so I'm not saying anything that would get the town in trouble from a loss or anything like that. It's documented. They had some issues on their property. And so their permit does not allow them to do what we were doing before. So we have to move ahead, and we are looking for a site. And again, the highway superintendent and I are pursuing this very aggressively, but we need to make this additional change to allow for, by special use permit under the I-1 district, the ability to have a facility like this in operation. So we have a motion by Member Larmore, second by Member Milano. Anyone else? Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
The resolution 229-17 passes. Resolution 230-17.
Call for public hearing to be held on Wednesday, September 13th, 2017 at 7 p.m. at the John F. Kerman Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306 for the following purpose. Request by the SI Group, Inc. to discuss the allowance for the conversion of existing 650,000 gallon tank to IEQ-2 influent equalization, addition of a 350,000 gallon tank freshwater sewer diversion tank pump station, IEQ-2 pump station, stormwater granular, activated carbon treatment system, and interior renovations to Building 20 on the 36.40 acre parcel at their industrial facility located in the Aquifer Overlay Zone at 1000 Main Street in Rotterdam Junction, New York, 12150.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second by Member Larmore. Anyone on the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Larmore.
Mr. Super,
Okay, sorry.
All right, this is my concern, and I certainly hope that the SI Group sends somebody to explain this to me a little further. On page 2 of the short environmental assessment form, it says the following. During the first 30 minutes of a storm, the stormwater entering the site will be collected in a closed storm sewer system and discharged into the closed industrial sewer system owned by the SI Group, and then be treated prior to discharge to the Mohawk River. Great. After the first 30 minutes of a storm, stormwater will be diverted and discharged into the Mohawk with no purification. I want to understand why that's happening and if there's a way to prevent that from happening. I understand that it is possible that there are epic storms where an unbelievable amount of water could in fact be generated, dropped onto a chemical facility, and then possibly find its way into the river. I understand that that can in fact happen. But because local municipalities, not including Rotterdam, do in fact take water from the river for drinking purposes. Yeah. What church didn't turn off their cell phone? And, yeah, exactly. And use it for other industrial purposes. The fact that we have a known chemical plant that will be discharging water in the 31st minute, there's got to be a better plan. I'd like to hear what that is and if there's any alternatives. And if not, tell me why we have to do it this way. So hopefully they will bring somebody for the next meeting.
Mr. Supervisor, all I was going to say was Councilman Villano had mentioned this during the agenda meeting, and in support of his concern, I just want to make sure that I think somehow the message, I think that it is important that we have qualified, detailed people from the SI group at that meeting to answer his concern. You know, and there could very well be a very logical explanation on, you know, if there's something that's not written in there that maybe should be written in there. But it warrants an answer, and I'm in support of the fact of somebody contacting SI and making sure that the right people and the qualified people are here to answer questions, so there's no gray area.
Thanks. We will do so. Okay, we have a motion by Member Christou, a second by Member Larmore. Anyone else in the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Villano?
To explain my vote, I am going to be voting yes for the public hearing, but the preservation of the quality of the drinking water, not just of the town of Rotterdam, but also of our surrounding municipalities, has to be maintained. It's critical that we know why they're doing this and if there is a better way, and I'm very interested to hear it, so I vote yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Thank you. Resolution 230-17 passes. Resolution 231-17.
Call for public hearing to be held on Wednesday, September 13th, 2017 at 7 p.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, for the following purpose. For the adoption of proposed local law 2 of 2017 relating to creation of 3 new zoning districts, Main Street Neighborhood Center Overlay District, MS/NC, Corridor Commercial Overlay District, CORR, and Commercial Planned Unit Development District, C-PUD.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay, motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Member Larmore. Anyone on the question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor.
Go ahead.
After looking it over, I do want to say it looks like this is something that Rotterdam needs badly, because we need to draw businesses into Rotterdam, especially small businesses, large businesses, any kind of businesses we need to draw in. And this looks like it might be a situation that might allow for more businesses to want to come to Rotterdam. And that's something we need, as not only for quality of life, for having places you can go to without having to travel a long distance, but also for the fact, for the homeowners, if there's more businesses, that means they take up more of the tax base, so the homeowner doesn't have to pay as much of the tax base. So I just think it's a good idea all the way around.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
From an aesthetic perspective, if anybody has been up to the town of Malta, up near the Circles, near the Price Chopper, there's a stretch of mixed-use property. If you haven't been up there, by all means, go into Google Maps, take a look at it firsthand. It's wonderful what having a walkable neighborhood business district can be. There are professional spaces, retail spaces, service spaces, small apartment residences, all intermixed. It creates a walkable neighborhood where you can park at one place and then make 3 stops before returning to your car. It's something sorely missed in places like the town of Rotterdam, where we have the typical suburban layout with a large parking lot fronting the roadway, and then having the businesses far in the back, where the businesses themselves are isolating themselves from other businesses in the residential community that they're in. What the steering committee has put together is a great plan in which we can mirror what's going on in other very successful towns, such as the town of Malta. This is a great opportunity for us, and once again, it's tough to get, you know, my undying support for really anything, but I have mentioned to Mr. Tingley on occasion that I am a huge fan of his work, in particular on this particular project. This is something that should be advanced as quickly as possible so that we can get some of the benefits of that, especially in some of the corridors that he has selected, such as Hamburg Street, 4 Corners and 5 Corners area, where in fact we could get mixed use. So I look forward to seeing where developers end up going with this going forward, once we put it in place.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? There'll be more at the public hearing, and I would ask you to, if you can attend. I think you'll see a lot of positive solutions, if you will, to where we have been before, where we need to go. We have mixed zoning already in different areas, and some things that really don't coordinate very well. This will afford the owners of properties in these areas to potentially realize a little bit more for what they have paid taxes on for many years, but more importantly, that they have invested their life in, but particularly if you're running a small business somewhere and in town. And to what Member Villano said about the different style. Malta is one, Upper Union Street is another. I mean, you see some areas where there's sidewalks, things are interconnected to residential areas that make sense. There are larger buffers between buildings and residents to commercial areas of the town, and that's going to be great for everyone. More importantly, to be great for marketability in an area. And no matter what we do, we all know that probably our biggest investment that the majority of us have is our home, one way or another. Whether you're paying rent or you're paying mortgage and taxes, what happens is you're paying something, and as importantly, you're investing somewhere. And it would be great if that investment, whether again it's through rent or through a mortgage in some way, that you are able to see more for your money later on. And in particular, to have a walkable area to shops and things. So we're excited about this. And John is he's another humble guy. Doesn't say a lot. He doesn't really have to say much tonight, but maybe in a future meeting. But we're still time. We have a lot more resolutions. But he and his committee have come up with these ideas, and I want to commend all of them. You have Mylan Jackson on that committee. David Hall, and Jim Trigger, and Catherine Curtis, and they're all great people of our community, either in business or residents, and they all come from different walks of life. So it's been a great collaboration. So thank you very much for your work, your committee's work as well. So we have a motion by Member Christou, a second by Member Larmore. Anyone else on the question? Okay, Ms. Mark will call the roll for 231.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Villano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 231-17 passes. Resolution 232-17.
Declare the town board as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with 6 NYCRR Part 617 and state environmental quality review relative to the proposed local law referenced in resolution number 231.17.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Polano. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Member Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Mark, call the roll, please.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Villano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 232-17 passes. Resolution 233-17.
Authorize the supervisor to negotiate and execute a contract with the New York State Office of Children and Family Services grant funding through Schenectady County Youth Bureau in connection with the Parks and Recreation Department to operate a summer recreational activity program, RAP, and preschool educational program, PREP, for youth activities and accept reimbursement in the amount not to exceed $4,000.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second that.
Second by Member Larmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Villano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 233-17 passes. Resolution 234-17.
Resolution to approve a request by the SI Group, Inc. to build a wash building on approximately 900 square feet at their industrial facility located in the Aquifer Overlay Zone at 1000 Main Street in Rotterdam Junction, New York, 12150. Public hearing was called for at the town board meeting of July 12, 2017. Public hearing was held at the town board meeting of August 9, 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Member Villano. Anyone on the question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor.
Go ahead.
I would like to ask to have this tabled until the next meeting, because we just had the public hearing just now. We haven't got any feedback from the townspeople. We barely had time to absorb it. I think that we need to hear from everyone and get an opinion from the people that are finding out about this, so before we go and vote on it, because we haven't had time to even really consider it. So, I'd like to ask to have it tabled.
Need a second?
There's a motion, is there a second? Yeah.
If Mr. Lamore indicates that he needs more time to think about this, I will support his request and second his motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to table Resolution 234-17 until the next meeting. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll for tabling 234-17, please?
Mr. Christo to table?
To table, no.
Mr. Lamore to table?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera to table? No. Mr. Valano to table?
Yes.
Mr. Tomaso to table?
No.
So there's 3 noes and 2 yeses, it does not get tabled.
Just to let everyone know, this facility is important to the operation of SI Group, and it's important to further this quickly. But frankly, we have only 1 meeting in July, 1 meeting in August. To delay the ability for them to construct this facility and do what they need to do there at a time when we've had a lot of rain, when we have this past couple of months, more importantly, as they move on, we're getting into the winter months here. These are important improvements, as well as the conversation that was had earlier about the prior resolution regarding SI Group. So
the next development is far more dicey than this one.
I wouldn't use the word dicey. I think it's interpretation of what you're reading as rain event, and we can have them discuss that over this at the next meeting. So we have a resolution 234-17 with a motion by Member Christou and a second by Member Valano, so we can move ahead with voting on that resolution.
I just wanted to say one more thing. We're more concerned with SI about them doing this building than taking the time to make sure this is our aquifer we're talking about. We should be taking the time to really find out what this is all about instead of trying to rush it through. That's not something we should be rushing through. That's not our. If they wanted this a long time ago, then they probably should have put it in a long time ago, so we would have had time to check it out, investigate it. I don't think rushing through is the greatest idea.
Let me read something so that we can maybe move on a little bit here from this too. So from Schenectady County Intermunicipal Watershed Rules and Regulations Board, that's included in our backup here. And without going through every detail, let me just read a couple of things here. Dear Peter, this comes from Jason Pelton. Yeah, from Jason Pelton, who's a groundwater management planner for the county. I have reviewed the application along with the project plans and descriptions for the Schenectady International Incorporated SII proposed wash building construction. Based on this review, the proposed construction of a wash building does not violate the overall purpose or intent of our watershed rules and regulations. It goes on to also say that because of the facility, what happens there to protect the wells and the well fields, that this is a great project. And let me move on to basically he goes on to say that talks about the DEC, et cetera. And so they already have the DEC approval. So I'll go on to say here, in addition to the proposed usage being consistent with the watershed rules and regulations, the facility is currently managed as a Class 2 inactive waste disposal site, which has been on for many years at SI Group by DEC. Site construction excavation will be in accordance with an approved soil management plan. So everything that they're doing there is under the auspices of the DEC.
If you're going to read it, though, you did skip the word hazardous.
Look, I think I said that.
No, you did skip the word hazardous.
I apologize if I did. But again, as I said, that's been on the list for decades, Mr. Valano. More importantly, this is a business in the town that's been there for many, many years. They have done it's not just a lot of jobs, but more importantly for us, they are doing more and more to protect the water supply and protect the river. And the state of New York in particular is on board. In other words, they're very active in ensuring that. All of these resolutions, when it comes to SI Group or any other business in the town, it doesn't matter where it's being built, the DEC has regulations that the town of Rotterdam has to follow. The town of Rotterdam has regulations that the developers and the property owners have to follow as well. So know that everything is being done in accordance with the rules and regulations and laws, but more importantly, that it's being done to protect neighbors, protect our water. So I think that one of the things that I find that it's sometimes, how should I say this, sensationalizing what we already know. In other words, it's a fact that SI Group they deal with chemicals there. But look at what they've done in the past several years. They've made a tremendous investment there. They've made a tremendous number of improvements to that site. And everything in accordance with, again, the DEC regulations and the town rules and regulations, EPA regulations. So I guess I don't know what else you would intend for them to do except shut down, if that's what your intention is. Everything that they're doing here is investing more in protecting the employees, protecting residents, protecting everyone. And I don't know what else to say to it. I think that it's a mistake to not move ahead because, again, in New York, you only have so many months that you can do construction. It's a few months. And if you wait and you push these things off, it costs developers more. It costs the end user more, whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a business person. It makes what we're talking about here really sometimes maybe I should just stop talking and move to the resolution. Samantha's like, yes, please, let's do that. Stop talking. No, I hope not. Okay, resolution 234-17, motion by member Christie and second by member Bellato. Can we call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
I'm very reluctant to say yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Milano?
I am comfortable with this particular project, yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 235-17.
Issue a request for bids, RFP for B, for the south wing roof repair at the Town of Rotterdam Senior Center with bid submissions to be publicly opened and read on Wednesday, September 6, 2017 at 10 a.m.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christie. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by member Bellato. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Milano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 235-17 passes. Resolution 236-17.
Issue a request for bids, RFB, for improvements to the Galat Drive sewage pumping station with will be submissions to be publicly opened and read on Wednesday, September 6, 2017 at 2 p.m.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christie. Is there a
I'll second.
Wow. Second by member Larmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Milano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 236-17 passes. Resolution 237-17.
Award bid opened on Monday, July 10th, 2017 for the Town of Rotterdam Great Flats Nature Trailhead, contract number 1, general construction to Empire Paving of Schenectady, Inc., 1886, DeWaynesburg Road, DeWaynesburg, New York, 12056.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christie, second by member Larmore.
Sure.
Okay. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Milano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 237-17 passes. Resolution 238-17.
Authorize the comptroller to appropriate unrestricted fund balance in the highway fund EA to cover costs of the awarded bid Town of Rotterdam Melrose and Summer Street Drainage Improvements Project in an amount not to exceed $228,700.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Bolano, second by member Christie.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Milano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 238-17 passes. Resolution 239-17.
Award bid opened on Friday, July 7, 2017 for the furnishing of work, labor, and materials in connection with the Town of Rotterdam Melrose and Summer Street Drainage Improvements Project to Gallo Construction, 50 Lincoln Avenue, Waterville, New York, 12189.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christie. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Larmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Milano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Resolution 239-17 passes. Resolution 240-17.
The Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam hereby authorizes the appropriation of parkland fees in an amount not to exceed $1,200, and hereby modifies the general fund budget by increasing estimated revenues A510 in the revenue account entitled Parkland Fees A2001.200100 by $1,200, and increasing appropriations A960 in the subsidiary account entitled Parks Improvements A7110.4153 by $1,200 to pay for the work performed at Memorial Park.
Okay, may I have a motion, please? I'll move. Motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Member Valano. Anyone on the question?
I just think that this is a good expense. We need to take the trees out near the basketball court so the roots don't run underneath it and ruin all the new work that we're doing. So I think it's a good proposal.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 24017 passes. Resolution 24117.
The Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam hereby authorizes the appropriation of parkland fees in an amount not to exceed $540, and hereby modifies the general fund budget by increasing estimated revenues A510 in the revenue account entitled Parkland Fees A2001.200100 by $540, and increasing appropriations A960 in the subsidiary account entitled Parks Improvement A7110.4153 by $540 to pay for the reconstruction of town basketball courts.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Member Valano. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 24117 passes. Resolution 24217.
Authorize the town to accept an easement from Gary DeCoco, 333 Chisholm Street, Schenectady, New York, 12303, in a manner acceptable to the town attorney and the town of Rotterdam's highway superintendent.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Member Lamar. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Member Christou. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
The Resolution 24217 passes. Resolution 24317.
Appoint Bryant Asset Protection Incorporated as the insurance consultant for liability insurance for 2018, 2019, and 2020 coverage. Authorize the supervisor to sign all necessary documents for this insurance bidding process and to engage in a contract with Bryant Asset Protection Incorporated at an amount not to exceed $9,750.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Member Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 24317 passes. Resolution 24417.
Amend Resolution Number 218.17 and authorize an addendum to agreement to add Orchard Street and Ford Avenue to the paving plan for the 2017 and to allow payment for the Town of Rotterdam road paving 2017 fiscal year in an additional amount for such addendum not to exceed $23,482.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Member Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. If I remember on the conversation we had, we are adding these two. Are we also taking off one?
We're adding Orchard Street and Ford Avenue to the paving
Oh, I
plan.
thought we were.
Yeah,
Oh, is-
Well, they're removing L.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's correct. I thought you meant something else.
Oh, I
Okay, no.
was just wondering if that was in
No.
part of the amendment.
It should be, it's in there, yeah. What they're doing is that the other street is, Larry, are you going to pave that next year? Is that what you're considering for Elm?
No, not yet. It's not that bad a condition. There's
Okay.
a clerical error between Elm and Orchard. It
Okay.
should have been listed as Orchard in the beginning for the
All right.
contract.
So that's where we are with that. So let's move on to the resolution.
It doesn't.
It should-
Rick's right. It should say
It
that.
should say that, yeah.
It should say that.
Wait, that was what we had originally. let's do,
Can we just make a motion?
can I just, go, let's just go through legislative request first. We have it in here.
Mr. Supervisor, if it's
So it's to add Orchard Street, comma, remove,
or
so
exchange elm for orchard.
no, I wouldn't say exchange, I think we have to say remove.
Okay.
The way it's worded isn't right. So let's go there. And,
I'll make a motion, Mr. Supervisor, to
add the words.
Add the words, remove Elm Street and, just before the word add. So the resolution should read, 244-17 should read, amend resolution number 218.17 and authorize an addendum to agreement to remove Elm Street and add Orchard Street and Ford Avenue to the paving plan for 2017, and to allow payment for Town of Rotterdam road paving 27-17 sixth fiscal year in an amount of such addendums not to exceed $23,482.00.
To remove Elm Street.
That's okay.
Sure.
So that's the motion.
So we have a motion
Yes.
for an amendment.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by member Milano.
So first we have to vote on the amendment?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So Ms. Marco, please call the roll for the.
Right, we're voting on to remove Elm and then continue on the way you
We're
read.
adding the amendment, we're voting on the amendment.
Right, Mr. Christo,
I vote yes on the amendment.
Mr. Lamore,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera,
Yes.
Mr. Villano,
Good catch, Rick, yes.
and Mr. Thomason.
Yes.
5 yes on the amendment.
Okay, very good.
Now to vote.
No,
It was my understanding that, was, okay. So we
Still has to
have,
come off.
the amendment now. Let's vote for the resolution itself.
Correct.
244-17 as amended. Ms. Marco?
Mr. Christo,
Yes.
Mr. Lamore,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera,
Yes.
Mr. Villano,
Yes.
Mr. Thomason.
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 244 as amended, 17 as amended passes.
Now, this is my question as a procedural point, since we ended up changing the motion to remove Elm. The order that we would otherwise need to sign, does it need to be remedied? And should we stop by Town Hall to in fact sign that?
Yeah, the addendum,
The addendum should be fine.
That is should be fine.
no, the addendum still.
It still has to remove Elm Street.
It still has Elm in the name.
So we have to
That does.
remove.
The
Yeah.
addendum
No.
can be modified, the board's authorized that to delete Elm. I can modify that tomorrow morning and email it.
And I can, well, you need our wedding signatures, right? So I
Right,
can just
yeah,
stop
so-
by.
Yeah, so the
I'll
town board
stop.
members will have to stop by and sign that.
I'll do that tomorrow afternoon.
So we'll just go inside. We'll have to have it signed
Okay, that's fine.
No
That's what we'll
problem,
do.
we'll take care of it.
And then I'll run around and get everybody's signature if we need to. Joe, if you know.
Well, you can just leave it in the board member's office,
Supervisor's office.
where we have keys to.
Okay, so we have a motion, or we all voted in favor of the amendment.
245.
244 is
Give a
good.
change. 245. Done. 245-17.
Authorize gasoline and diesel expenditures from April 1st, 2017 through and including June 30th, 2017 to be transferred into various accounts.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Motion by Member Christou, second, or no, Member Miller, I'm sorry, second by Member Christou. Any questions? Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? I'm sorry, did I choose?
She said yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Mr. Villano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 245-17 passes. Resolution 246-17.
Accept town clerk's report for the month of July 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Member Larmore, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Member Blount. Anyone in the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Villano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 246-17 passes. Resolution 247-17.
Authorize budget transfers by the town controller to various accounts for 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Member Blount, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Member Christie. Anyone in the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Villano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 247-17 passes. In the interest of time, there are some things that I would like to bring up, but I'm going to just bring up one item. It's very quick. DOT, I received a letter from Sam Zoe, who is the regional director for DOT, and just to let everyone know that we've applied for a grant to make improvements in Rotterdam Junction along Lock Street, et cetera. So one of the things that DOT is assisting us with, I'll just read this last paragraph. New York State Region 1 Office is pleased to provide the town of Rotterdam our commitment to participate in the town's proposal to provide needed stormwater management drainage improvements along New York Route 5S in the Lock Street / Scrafford Lane area of the community. With the town's successful application, which we don't know if we're successful yet, but for the CFA or Consolidated Funding Application Program, the department will provide 1/2 of the matching share up to a maximum of $125,000 for the estimated cost of design, construction, and inspection for the proposed drainage improvements in Rotterdam Junction. And that's a real testament to the people there who have unfortunately lived with this issue for way too long, and the floods there really ravaged that area badly, homes. But also, I'll just say that, and this is not to give a plug, it's just the fact that Assemblyman Santa Barbara was very active with me and others in the town to move this grant application ahead, and the board here has already moved it forward. So things are happening. Hopefully we'll be able to take care of this, and also thanks to Larry for his help as well. Anyone else have any committee reports or miscellaneous?
Yes, actually, one last thing. I've been asked, what is the status of the improvements going on Hamburg Street? Do we have a timeline established where things are going to be progressing on it? I know that there were a lot of legal work. We had to have some takings and other things to get it in line, but if you can bring us up to speed, that would be great.
I can briefly tell you what I know, and that is the DOT is, National Grid and others are moving ahead and making all the improvements that they need to make there prior to the new water line going in, and prior to the roadway being constructed and the sewer line going in. So that's where we are. I don't know the exact timetable at this point. We haven't had, I don't think, a more accurate timetable from what we already have had in the past. But I'll speak to Mike Boudris tomorrow, Friday, and get maybe a more accurate depiction of what's going to happen there.
Whatever you find out, if you could just pass it along to the board.
I'll email everyone.
I'm just interested, is ground going to be broken next year, next spring, just...
They're working pretty aggressively there. I mean, you can see they've done quite a bit of work there. So things are going in the right direction. But, a lot of any delays that have happened with any construction around the town, in particular projects we're involved in, is this rain.
Yeah.
It's really put us back, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll have an easier winter and fall and winter, and we'll be able to get more done during that time period. So.
All right.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Mr. Supervisor, I move to adjourn.
I always like those words. Okay. We have a motion by Member Christie to adjourn. A second, please.
I'll move, or I'll second.
By Member Larmore and Milano. Everyone wants in. Anyone opposed? No? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you.